Assalamualaikum. Today I will be presenting the topic from Chapter 1, Introduction, Why Project Management. Okay, first, we will look at the need for the projects. Number 1 is to improve internal operations. Number 2 is respond rapidly to external opportunities. Number 3 is achieve technological breakthroughs. Number 4, streamline new product development. And number 5 is more robustly manage the challenges arising from the business environment. What is a project? A project is a unique venture with a beginning and an end, conducted by people to meet established goals within parameters of cost, schedule, and quality. A project can be considered to be any series of activities and tasks that have a specific objective to be completed within certain specifications, have defined start and end dates, have funding limits, if applicable, consume human and non-human resources such as money, people, and equipment, and they are multifunctional, for example, like cut across several functional lines. In the PMBOK guide, a project is defined as a temporary endeavor undertaken to create a unique product, service, or result. The various elements of projects, as identified by this set of definitions, are: projects are complex, one-time processes. A project arises for a specific purpose or to meet a stated goal. It is complex because it typically requires the coordinated input of numerous members of the organization. Project members may be from different departments, other organizational units, or one functional area. Because a project is intended to fulfill a stated goal, it is temporary. It exists only until its goal has been met, and at that point, it is dissolved. Number 2 is projects are limited by budget, schedule, and resources. A project work requires that members work with limited financial and human resources for a specified time period. They do not run indefinitely. Once the assignment is completed, the project team disbands. Until that point, all its activities are constrained by limitations on budget and personnel availability. Projects are resource-constrained activities. Number 3 is projects are developed to resolve a clear goal or set of goals. There is no such thing as a project team with an ongoing, non-specific purpose. The project's goals or deliverables define the nature of both the project and its team. And next is projects are consumer focused. Whether the project is responding to the needs of an internal organizational unit or intended to exploit a market opportunity external to the organization, the underlying purpose of any project is to satisfy customer needs. These are the general project characteristics. It consists of projects are ad hoc endeavors with a clear life cycle. Projects are non-traditional. They are activities that are initiated as needed, operate for a specified time period over a fairly well-understood development cycle, and are then disbanded. They are temporary operations. Number 2, projects are building blocks in the design and execution of organizational strategies. Projects allow organizations to implement company-wide strategies. They are the principal means by which companies operationalize corporate-level objectives. In effect, projects are the vehicles for realizing company goals. And number 3, projects are responsible for the newest and most improve products, services, and organizational processes. Projects are tools for innovation because they complement traditional process-oriented activities. Many companies rely on projects as a vehicle for going beyond conventional activities. Number 4 is projects provide a philosophy and strategy for the management of change. Change is an abstract concept until we establish the means by which we can make real alterations in the things we do and produce. Number 5 is project management entails crossing functional and organizational boundaries. Projects epitomize internal organizational collaboration by bringing together people from various functions across the company. A project aimed at new product development may require the combined work of engineering, finance, marketing, design, and so forth. Number 6, the traditional management functions of planning, organizing, motivation, directing, and control apply to project management. Project managers must be technically well-versed, proficient at administrative functions, willing and able to assume leadership roles, and above all, goal-oriented. The next is the principal outcomes of a project are the satisfaction of customer requirements within the constraints of technical, cost, and schedule objectives. Projects are defined by their limitations. They have finite budgets, definite schedules, and carefully stated specifications for completion. And the last one is projects are terminated upon successful completion of performance objectives or earlier in the life cycle if results no longer promise an operational or strategic advantage. As we have seen, projects differ from conventional processes in that they are defined by limited life cycles. Next is why are projects important? Number 1 is shorten product life cycles. The days when a company could offer a new product and depend on having years of competitive domination are gone. Increasingly, the life cycle of new products is measured in terms of months or even weeks rather than years. Number 2 is narrow product launch windows. Another time-related issue concerns the nature of opportunity. Organizations are aware of the dangers of missing the optimum point at which to launch a new product and must take a proactive view toward the timing of product introductions. Number 3 is increasingly complex and technical products. It has well been documented that the average automobile today has more computing power than Apollo 11 space capsule that allowed astronauts to walk on the moon. Products are complicated, technically sophisticated, and difficult to produce efficiently. Firms constantly upgrade product and service lines to fit this demand. This causes multiple problems in design and production as we continually seek to push the technical limits. Furthermore, in anticipating future demand, many firms embark on expensive programs of research and development while attempting to discern consumer tastes. The effect can be to erroneously create expensive and technically sophisticated projects that we assume that customer will want. Global markets. The early 21st century has seen the emergence of enormous new markets for almost every type of product and service. The increased globalization of the economy, coupled with enhanced methods for quickly interacting with customers and suppliers, has created a new set of challenges for business. These challenges also encompass unique opportunities for those firms that can quickly adjust to this new reality. And the last one is an economic period marked by low inflation. One of the key indicators of economic health is the fact that inflation has been kept under control. In most of the developed Western economies, low inflation has helped to trigger a long period of economic expansion while also helping provide the impetus for emerging economies such as those in India and China to expand rapidly. For project life cycles, it refers to the stages in a project's development. Life cycles are important because they demonstrate the logic that governs a project. They also help us to develop our plans for carrying out the project. For example, when we should devote resources to the project, how we should evaluate its progress, and so forth. And there are four distinct phases in this cycle. Number one is conceptualization. It refers to the development of the initial goal and technical specifications for a project. The scope of work is determined, necessary resources, and important organizational contributors or stakeholders sign on. Next is planning. It is the stage in which all detailed specifications, schematics, schedules, and other plans are developed. The individual pieces of the project, often called work packages, are broken down, individual assignments made, and the process for completion clearly delineated. During execution, the actual work of the project is performed, the system developed, or the product created and fabricated. It is during the execution phase that the bulk of project team labor is performed. And last is termination. It occurs when the completed project is transferred to the customer, its resources reassigned, and the project formally closed out. As specific sub-activities are completed, the project shrinks in scope and costs decline rapidly. There are five components of a project may change over the course of its life cycle. Number one is client interest. It is the level of enthusiasm or concern expressed by the project's intended customer. Clients can be either internal or external to the organization. Number two is project stake. It is the amount of corporate investment in the project. The longer the life of the project, the greater the investment. Next one is resources. It is the commitment of financial, human, and technical resources over the life of the project. Number four is creativity. The degree of innovation required by the project, especially during certain development phases. And last one is uncertainty. It is the degree of risk associated with the project. Riskiness here reflects the number of unknowns, including technical challenges, that the project is likely to face. Next, we look on to determinants of project success. The criteria of project success are time, budget, performance, and client acceptance. We look at the time. The projects are constrained by a specified period of time during which they must be completed. They are not supposed to continue indefinitely. Thus, the first constraint that governs project management involves this basic requirement. Number two is budget. A second key constraint for all projects is a limited budget. Projects must meet budgeted allowances in order to use resources as efficiently as possible. Number three is performance. All projects are developed in order to adhere to some initially determined technical specifications. And last one is client acceptance. It is the principle of client acceptance argues that projects are developed with customers or clients in mind, and their purpose is to satisfy customers' needs. If client acceptance is a key variable, then we must also ask whether the completed project is acceptable to the customer for whom it was intended. Thank you from me.